Chapter 1. The bookstore was sandwiched between a dry cleaner's and a shifty-looking accounting office. Managishi's Tricks wasn't in the guidebook, but Zoe Norris knew enough about guidebooks to know they often missed the best places. This clearly was not one of those places. The store was, to put it bluntly, filthy. It reminded Zoe of an abandoned mechanic's garage with grime and grease coating the walls and bookshelves. She pulled her arms in to avoid brushing against anything. Long strips of paint dotted with mold peeled away from the walls as if they could no longer stand to adhere to such filth. Zoe couldn't blame them. She felt a bizarre desire to wave to them as they bobbed lazily to herald her passing. Her shoes stuck slightly to the floor, making her trek through the store louder than she would have liked. She always enjoyed looking at cities, even her hometown, through the eyes of a tourist. She owned guidebooks of every city she had visited and used them extensively. It made her usual urban exploration feel more thorough. It also allowed her to look at the competition, or it had when she'd worked in travel book publishing. The store didn't win her over with its stock either. She'd never heard of most of the books. They had titles like How to Make Love, Marry, Devour, and Inherit in 8 Weeks in the romance section, and When Your Hound from Hell Outgrows His House and Yours in the pet section. She picked the one about hounds and opened it to Chapter 4. The Aegean Stables, How to Poop or Scoop Dung That Could Drown a Terrier. She frowned. So they're really assuming your dog gets bigger than a house? It's not tongue-in-cheek? If this is humor, it's failing. Despite the humorous title, the front cover had a frightening drawing of a hulking white beast with red eyes. The cover was growing uncomfortably warm, and the leather had a sticky, alien feeling, not like cow or even snake leather. She switched the book to her left hand and wiped her right on her beige sweater. She immediately regretted it. One sweater ruined, she muttered, looking at the grainy black smear. What is this stuff? The cashier's desk faced the door from the back of the store and was staffed by an unsmiling teen girl in a dirty gray sundress. She had olive skin and big round eyes, and her head had the fuzz of the somewhat recently shaved. Piercings dotted her face, at her nose, eyebrow, lip, and cheek, and all the way up her ears. Despite her slouchy body language, she watched Zoe with a bright, sharp gaze that looked almost hungry. Beside the desk was a bulletin board, blocked by a pudgy man hanging a flyer. He wore a t-shirt and jeans and looked to be in his mid-30s. He looked completely out of place in this store. That is, he was clean. "Can I help you?" the girl asked as Zoe approached the counter. You have a very interesting shop here," Zoe said, smiling. She put the hound book on the counter and tried not to grimace as it stuck to her hand briefly. "How much is this one?" The clerk didn't return her smile. "We cater to a specific clientele." "Okay, but how much is the book?" Zoe asked again. "It's not for sale. It's a collectible." Zoe became aware of the man at the bulletin board, turning and watching her. She began to sweat a little bit. "Jesus, calm down. Not everyone is out to get you." "So it's not for sale, or it's a collectible. Which one?" The girl reached over and took the book. "It's not for sale to you, only to collectors." "How do you know I don't collect dog books?" Zoe asked, bristling. "And what does it matter? All I wanted to know was how much it costs. Do you care where it goes as long as it's paid for?" "Are you a collector of rare books catering to the owners of exotic pets?" The man interrupted, smiling. His voice was pleasant and mild, and she relaxed a little, despite his patronizing words. "Excuse me for butting in, but I know the owner of this shop, and she considers these books her treasure. She's very particular about where they go when they leave her care." "Why should she—" Zoe trailed off when she got a closer look at the bulletin board to the man's left. Several flyers stood out, many with phone numbers ripped from the bottom. One, advertising an exorcism service specializing in elemental demons.